Onside. 92. Canada.
South African side entering a lot of familiarity, but they are fortunate.
Inside Sportcast.
Welcome to yet another episode of Inside Sportcast with your boy, Mr. Empire South Africa. Today we've got a very esteemed and a very exciting figure in the sporting community who plays a role in a very unique, or I could say something that we've never heard about before, a sport called FootGolf. Vuyiswa Ntombela. Welcome, my sister.
Thank you so much for having me.
Finally.
Yeah.
Sure. I think it's been about a year and a half or two.
True.
Yeah, I think we spoke. We last spoke, and we've been trying to get you here. And you know, like I said over the phone the other day, Guti, I believe in destiny and the right time. And I believe, Guti, definitely this is the right time, for this to happen.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think this is the right time because 2 years ago I was still new into the whole FootGolf thing.
Yep.
So I feel like now I've done a lot of things compared to 2 years back.
Yes.
So yeah, I think this is the perfect time for me to come and share.
A document. You've got now a document and a testimony. You've got the ins and outs.
Exactly.
Let me just say you're a legend now in the game.
Not really a legend.
But building towards that.
Yeah, I'm definitely building towards that. But yeah, there's more insights now compared to 2 years back.
Yep.
So I believe this is the right time for me to come here and share what I know about FootGolf.
Yes. Yeah. So tell us more regarding your journey, how it began, how you stumbled across FootGolf, because, to many of us sitting at home, we're asking ourselves, okay, what is FootGolf? Because we used to the traditional game, we used to the traditional sporting codes, and now FootGolf, and who is Vuyiswa Ntombela, and how did you begin the journey of FootGolf?
So Vuyiswa Ntombela is just someone who loves life generally. I'm just involved in a lot of things. I'm a very curious individual.
Yep.
So I'm in the creative space. I do have a sports background. I'm involved in community development as well.
Amazing.
But I stumbled upon FootGolf because I was stressed out by the creative industry.
Yep.
So at the time, I needed a hobby.
Yep.
For me to distress myself from all the stress from the creative industry. And then I told a friend that I needed a hobby.
Yep.
And then she told me about FootGolf. Obviously, at the time, in my mind, I actually wanted to go to tennis. Mainly because I love how they wear.
Yep.
I actually wanted to join a sport where they normally wear like luxurious sportswear.
Yes.
And for me, the only option was tennis and golf. And obviously, golf, I couldn't afford golf, obviously. So the easiest way would be tennis.
Yes.
So when she told me about FootGolf, I've obviously never heard about it, but I was also curious.
Yep.
It's like, okay, let's just go and try it out and see what's going to happen. So and then I went with her on their training.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got there, I saw they were kicking a ball into a hole. I'm like, that's easy for me. Because I've played soccer before in my teenage days.
Okay.
But obviously, I stopped playing, I think still in my teenage days. And since then, I've never played any sports. So going back to it was like, nah, this is easy for me. Just kicking, But I think when you look at it from a distance, it does seem easy until you start playing it. Then you understand the technicalities of it and how you're supposed to be mindful of your kicks, obviously, how you need to be precise. You need to aim. There's just a lot of things that you need to understand. But when you look at it, it seems easy. So that's how I got introduced into FootGolf. So I joined, I think think it was May or June. Can't remember properly, but I trained with them twice. And then in July, there was a tournament that was being played. So I registered and went to play for the tournament.
And that was your first competitive
tournament for
game
FootGolf, yes.
for you. Okay.
So I played that, and then I came position 2. So I took position
stuff.
2.
And just the first go of it. Wow.
Yeah.
That
Also
is
for me, it
amazing.
was just fun.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking forward to anything because it was my first time playing. I was excited, obviously, to see how am I going to do. And then I played and then I took the position 2, only to find out at a later stage that this was actually a World Cup qualifier.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah, so I
Wow.
was told after the game, they're like, hey, this is a World Cup qualifier, so you're in the squad. But it wasn't officially announced because there was also another World Cup qualifier that was going to be played later in the year.
Okay.
Yes. So when I played, so when the second qualifier for the World Cup, which was in November,
Yes.
got played in Serengeti, already qualified. Yeah, but it didn't sink in to me right
As
away.
yet.
Yeah, okay, actually I've qualified until the players, my teammates
Yes.
who were also playing, they were like, yo, at least you qualified. Yeah, I'm like,
Into the-
okay, this is
wow.
the real thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we played. I didn't do good on that one. I also came back with some injury.
Is it?
But yeah, when they officially announced the team that's going to be representing South Africa, my
Yep.
name was there.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Everything sounds so fast paced, because
True.
how I got to know you, I followed you, I think, on social media about 6, 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And, I knew you as a stylist,
True.
as a person who, is in the fashion space.
Yeah.
And I know you've done such an amazing work. And I've always seen how you've incorporated a bit of sports and fashion together, especially with the bicycle, stuff that you've done, the photo shoots. I remember there was a shoot that you've done we call it Eputum,
Yeah.
in the sports ground,
Yeah.
So you've always wanted to incorporate your both worlds in it. And I feel like destiny has found you in terms of what you want to do. And I mean, it's an amazing way to actually even kickstart that career,
Yeah.
So with that being said, what were the technical preparations that you had to put in place? How did you get to prepare yourself mentally and technically for the World Cup with the injuries and everything happening all at once?
To tell you the truth, when it came to us going to the World Cup, obviously I think when I first played the first tournament,
Yes.
right? So as I said, it was just a hobby for me.
Yep.
It wasn't something I was willing to take seriously. I just wanted to distress because I was still in the creative industry.
Yep.
I still am even now. But I didn't have like a routine or strict routine to say, this is how I'm going to do in sports. Because for me, it was just a hobby.
Yep.
So I'm not going to be stressing myself out with this thing again when I'm trying to avoid stress.
Yep.
Even when, I think going to the second qualifier, I would still like train just a bit, but it wasn't like serious again. Yes. And then obviously when they announced now that we are going to the World Cup, I think things started changing there.
Yep.
But it wasn't like a drastic change
Yep.
still. Because for me, like, it was still, I take this as a hobby, even though they've told me that you're going to the World Cup, and remove the mindset that this is a hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're now competing at the highest level.
Yeah. We want to make you an international player. For me, it was just a hobby.
Yeah.
That was it. So with training, because I'm new in golf. I don't know the rules. This is a new platform for me.
Yes.
So I had to learn all those things, but slowly I wasn't like putting myself under pressure
Yep.
with learning the rules, but I knew that I had to learn the rules because I'm playing the game.
Definitely.
In terms of training, I was just training alone or with the team. Like on Sundays, we'd train weekly with the team on Sundays. But I think that was just it. For me, I was like, no, I know how to kick. I didn't really take it seriously, because the excitement for me to go to the World Cup, it was only when they announced and then it faded.
Away.
And then I would be reminded that I'm actually going to the World Cup whenever people would ask me, hey, how are you feeling that you're actually going to the World Cup?
Yeah.
And also it wasn't even more of how are you feeling that you're going to the World Cup. It was more of how are you feeling that you're going to America?
For the World Cup. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
And
like,
was this your first official like travel
yeah,
outside of the country?
outside of Africa. I've
Africa.
been in other African countries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just it. And I've never also had like an American dream to go to. Yeah. I've always been fascinated by Europe compared to America.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for me, it was just, okay, let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
So with the training, it was never really something I would take seriously to
Yeah.
that extent. It's only when I came back from the World Cup.
Yeah.
I think the World Cup changed my perception and how I see foot golf. Yeah. It's only when I came back from the World Cup.
So in terms of you now being in the World Cup, you now traveling to America, you get there, and how's the atmosphere there? How big is the sport that side? Is foot golf internationally? What are the things that are you now taking from that trip, and what's happening there? Tell us about that.
So obviously when we got there, we were the only black people.
Yep.
So it's 19 of us amongst over 1,000 people.
All over the world.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
Different
it was
countries.
Different countries. It
Yep.
was 39 countries, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 39 countries. And culture shock for me, firstly, was I'm amongst just white people. We're the only black people. And we're obviously seen differently.
Yes.
There's people who've never seen black people. They hardly see black people. There's just so many people who want to take pictures with us, which is just crazy for
Yep.
me because I'm not used to that.
Yep.
I'm used to being amongst black people.
Yes.
So that's just a culture shock for me. But also they were really like nice,
Welcoming.
kind, welcoming.
And I mean,
people
also,
there.
you're from South Africa. I think
Exactly.
we hardly take ourselves for granted in terms of how South Africa is huge in a global stage, how people perceive us, that could also
True.
have played a role.
That's another thing that was like an affirmation
Yeah.
to me that I think when you are in something, you don't see how big you are until there's people from outside that tell you how big you are
Yeah.
or how great you are. So being at the World Cup showed me that, we are the real thing.
Yeah.
South Africa is truly loved out there. And for obviously many factors, even
Yes.
though, when we are at home, we feel like, there's just a lot of things that are not happening for us. But there's people who are embracing South Africa because each and every time would show up,
Yep.
people would be excited. People would remember the World Cup moments. They would ask us about vuvuzelas. They would ask us why we don't have the Jabulani balls.
Yes. Well, for the foot golf.
Yeah, which also was another thing. I didn't really think it's a
big thing.
It's a big thing.
It was quite symbolic at the World Cup.
Yeah.
The Jabulani ball
Yeah.
concept on its own.
I knew that, but I didn't know that it had such a sentimental to other people. Because when you go there, I think 80% of players were playing with the Jabulani ball.
Oh, wow.
Which is just crazy for
Wow.
me. 80%.
amazing.
And for them, it was a shock that we don't have the ball because none of us had a Jabulani ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we were just also asking ourselves, why are they carrying a Jabulani ball? But they were playing until you see them playing with it, you realize actually this is a very special ball. Yeah, it makes sense to play with it in foot golf. I don't know about football because there's so many people complaining about it. But in foot golf, it makes so much sense to play with the Jabulani ball.
When you think about it, because I played soccer, and almost went to into professional football, and the softness of it, the layering of it, how it was manufactured, I think it could make sense why it's so significant, in foot golf. And in terms of just accuracy,
True.
as well. I think there's a lot of contributing factors that
Yeah.
play a positive role in the sport on its own.
True. So I think those are the other things, like, discovering that Jabulani does have a sentimental value in foot golf, that South Africa is being loved so much.
Yeah.
But also, I think another shocking thing or a learning curve for me was, so normally in foot golf, there's a practice round before the actual tournament starts, right? So we went to the practice round, but we played like the whole 18 holes.
Okay.
Yeah, as South Africans.
Yes.
The other countries were not doing that. So they'll just go around to see how would they play these holes. They were pretty much strategizing around the holes while we were playing.
Officially. So it's
Officially.
it's like they were studying you guys on.
Not necessarily. They were studying the holes. But I mean, this is something new to us.
Yes.
We've never done it before.
Yeah.
So we just play.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what we even did in training.
Yeah.
We're mostly just playing.
Yes.
Yeah. So for them, it was just different. And there was just people going around with notebooks.
Yes.
Pretty much writing, I guess, so that they don't forget how to approach the next hole, how to approach that other hole, how to go around the bunker. So writing those notes. I think obviously it was important because when we played on the next day, we were obviously exhausted.
Yeah.
While they were fresh because they didn't play the entire 18 holes.
Yeah.
So when we played on the next day, I was paired with a girl from Germany.
Okay.
So the first time when we were playing, she took out the notes, which was just a shock for me. Like, why is she carrying out like a notebook? What's happening?
Yeah.
So and then she read obviously her notes, and then after reading, she put aside the notebook.
Yeah.
And she kicked.
Oh my
And
goodness.
when we kept playing, I understood why those notes were very important to her. And she played well.
Yeah.
She played well. And she wasn't even kicking hard enough as I was. Yeah. But also that comes with experience. Yeah. But we were not experienced.
Yeah.
While they go on the other side, I would go on the other side.
Yeah.
And then I would notice maybe later stage why they're actually going there. So for me, it was like, let's see how it's going to go that side. So sometimes in foot golf, it's very important to follow the direction of other people.
Yep.
So I think that's also another advantage of playing after other people, right? So that they are experienced, so would know why they would go that other side. So if I'm starting, I'll just play according to what I feel like it's going to work.
Yeah.
So I just go that other side, not knowing that maybe it's going to take longer for me, or there's other obstacles I need to face while they just go on the other side. But again, our balls were heavy because we were playing with, what's that ball? What's that ball?
Is it
Al-Glicha something.
is it the Doha Qatar World Cup ball?
Yes, that one.
Yep.
So we're playing with that one, the official one. Obviously, it's heavy.
Yep.
So there's a girl who asked me, the girl from Scotland, who was asking me, "Are you gonna play with this ball?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like to me, "Yo, that ball is heavy."
Yeah.
And we're used to playing with it. So in my mind, I'm like, this girl.
Yeah.
But when I played with them, I realized that ball is very heavy.
It's quite heavy. Yeah.
and you're gonna get tired along the way because you're playing 18 holes and it's very hot.
And also the pitch.
True.
And yeah.
Yeah. So, but I guess those are the things we had to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a learning curve.
True. Those are the things we had to learn.
So it's quite interesting and intriguing in terms of the things that you picked up, in the journey while playing. What are the key things? What's the difference between golf, the official golf sport, and foot golf? What breaks apart the two sports? As much as they played in the pitch still, but what are the key elements or key features that you would say break away the two sports?
Okay, let me say firstly, foot golf is sporting code that combines obviously the famous two sports, which is golf and
football. Okay.
So it combines them in a sense of we use a size 5 soccer ball that's being used in.
Okay. Because I was about to ask what size.
Yeah, so we use a size 5 soccer ball, but also our holes are bigger. They easily fit the size 5 soccer ball.
Okay.
Yeah. But in terms of golf, we use the same rules as golf. We use the same pitches as golf.
Okay.
Yeah, the only difference is that instead of using a club, we use our legs to kick the size 5 soccer ball so that it goes to the bigger hole.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in terms of the boots, do you guys use?
So we use the indoor soccer boots.
Indoor soccer boots.
Yes.
Okay, with studs, with the small studs underneath.
Yes, we use this.
Interesting.
Yeah, we use the
which makes sense,
boots.
Definitely. And the pitches, do you guys use the official golf courses?
Yeah,
as well as golf.
We use the same golf courses.
It's just the holes that then creates it bigger to accommodate the
golf.
balls.
Yes.
Oh, that's intriguing.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. And and what position did you come out from the World Cup?
I did come, I think 37th, if I'm not mistaken.
In the world. Wow.
Yeah.
That is big.
Yeah, it is.
Big.
I mean, I was gunning for top 50.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I mean, if you say that there were about 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And you came on 37.
Yeah, no. So there's obviously women category.
Okay.
There's men category. The senior men, senior women went there. Yeah, senior women went there. Juniors went there.
Yep.
But yeah, I can't remember how many women were there. I don't know if there were 100 and something.
Is it?
Yeah, there were 100 and something.
Yep.
So out of 100 and something, I came out
37.
I was obviously gunning for top 50.
For top 50.
Yeah.
It was accomplished.
Yeah, it was.
And and it's intriguing because you had just started. This was your first official World Cup game, and for your first instant in the world competition, you come out 37. That's quite big, and congrats on that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And you then. So I think that was a journey starter for you.
It definitely was. I mean, I think when you play, there's things that you pick up in your game. For instance, on the first day, as I told you that, I realized that my ball is heavy.
Yep.
So it makes my journey difficult. So after the games, I spoke with my teammates. I'm like, guys, these balls are heavy.
Yeah.
So we have two options now. It's either we go and buy lighter balls so that our game gets better, or we stick with these balls and keep complaining about these balls. So obviously some were adamant about the decision. The others were like, no, let's just go and try it out. But also I knew for me that I'm not someone who likes complaining, right? If I don't find a solution to that problem, then I should just keep quiet. Yeah, instead of just complaining
about it.
So for me, it was more of go and buy that ball. If you're still struggling with that ball, the problem is you.
Yep.
It's no longer the balls. Yeah. So we went to buy the balls, and then my game just kept on improving each and every day. Yeah. So then I knew that actually it was the ball.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. Yeah. So that's how I actually centered myself into this whole thing, to make sure that I don't complain about the problems. I find the solution to them.
Yeah.
And then focus on my game so that I can enjoy the game as a whole. Yeah.
So, with your experience with foot golf in the country, in terms of its growth, how is it looking currently? Is it only on a national level, or are clubs or individuals coming out and starting, their own teams, just to try expand the sport in the country? How is it looking like?
It's actually slowly growing because they've recently introduced clubs. Obviously now they have Team Ekurhuleni and Team Joburg.
Okay.
Because this is where our players are mostly dominant. And obviously we have more Ekurhuleni players compared to Joburg.
To Joburg, yep.
Yeah, but there's room for growth.
Yes.
We are getting more courses now. Even this month, we are going to play in Rustenburg.
Okay.
We've never played there before.
Yeah, the heat.
Yeah. So there's we're slowly growing. There's more people joining. There's more people becoming curious about foot golf because they've never heard about it. We have also a junior category that's also growing.
Okay.
We have 2 consistent junior players who are playing with us because they really love foot golf. They just can't wait for the junior category to grow first in order for them to join.
Yes.
So they're consistently playing with us. But it's slowly growing. Yeah, in a good way. It's
In a
slowly
good
growing
way.
in a good way.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And you part of Foot Golf South Africa?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So is that the body? Is that the national body?
Yeah, it's the mother body
of foot golf in the country.
In the country.
Okay.
Yeah. Then there's African foot golf.
Okay. That's on a continental level.
Is on continental level because now, initially South Africa was the only African country that had foot golf. But now there's Zimbabwe, introduced, I think, Togo,
Okay.
Congo, and Zambia.
Okay.
In April, we're playing a tournament in Zambia.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
In April, we're playing a tournament in Zambia.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's growing.
It's growing.
It's growing, yeah.
That's amazing. And tell me about your cycling journey. I know you've been doing a bit of cycling recently. And how's that going? Is that also helping you in terms of, getting your fitness level always in check as well?
So with cycling, I've always loved riding.
Yep.
As a whole. But unfortunately, I grew up in a home where my grandmother didn't want to buy me a bicycle.
Yeah.
And
we all have that story.
and not because she couldn't afford it.
Yep.
But I think she had her own traumas that she was projecting on me. So she didn't want to buy that bicycle because I remember even when her brother wanted to gift me a bicycle, like she strictly said, no, I can't take it. So for the longest time, I had to live without a bicycle, even though I knew that I loved a bicycle.
Yep.
But I just kept on saying, I'm going to buy a bicycle one day. And then a friend was pregnant in, I think, 2023, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2023 or 2022.
Yeah.
She got pregnant and she's always wanted me to cycle with them.
Yep.
And obviously my excuse was, no, I don't have a bicycle. She borrowed me her bicycle for 3 months.
Okay.
And then I started enjoying riding. I was riding alone. Sometimes I would go to Joburg town to do social rides.
From Soweto?
From Katlehong.
Oh, Katlehong, yes. With the bike.
Yeah, with the bicycle.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, I would join like social rides.
Yeah.
And I think when I took back her bicycle, I knew I had to get mine because I'm so used to it now.
Definitely.
Then I got my bicycle in, I think before we went to the World Cup. Yeah, before we went to the World Cup. But I also realized it was helping me with fitness as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's another reason for me to buy the bicycle.
To get the bike, yeah.
So and then I've just been riding my bicycle, I think since then. And then I officially did a race with my bicycle last year,
Okay.
the 94.7.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I did, 94.7. So I've been riding since then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I've been riding since then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you enjoying it?
Yeah, definitely. If there's one thing that makes me feel happy
Fulfilled.
in this entire world, like it has to be a bicycle.
A bicycle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's,
And
there's just something about a bicycle.
even the mental aspect of it, it just helps you to, always stay in check.
True.
Yeah. And I think also that now contributes back into your foot golf journey as
Yeah.
well. To always keep making sure that you are in a great space. Mentally, so in terms of foot golf, in every other sporting codes, there's always the technical aspects of it, the technical preparations of it, the sports science where data is involved. So, for example, you would see in soccer, there's the vests that they use to collect data in terms of their heart rate, in terms of their physical strength, if they can. So do you guys have somehow a similar structure as well? Just in terms of readiness and preparation, or is that still growing?
I think,
with the
I mean,
years?
I think that part will come.
Yeah.
For now, we don't have such things.
Yep.
But I do believe that we'd get to that point. At the moment, it's just a matter of training because at the end of the day, foot golf is an individual sport.
Yes.
Yeah. So it depends how badly you want this or how you love it or how passionate you are about this. You train alone, obviously. We group each other now and then. If you feel like you want to train with other people in the team who are obviously good. And you work with, I guess you work on progressing on your weaknesses.
Yeah.
For instance, for the longest time since I joined foot golf, I knew that my tee off is not good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I need to work on that because I don't struggle with putting. Right. So
So
putting,
tee off in terms of
drive the ball.
driving the ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't have that much power
Yes.
to drive the ball. Yeah. As much as I would love to drive the ball like too far,
Yep.
I still struggle with that, and I'm still working on that even today.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't struggle with putting to make sure that it goes to the hole.
Yep.
It's easier for me. So I guess when you train with people, those are the things you should be mindful of, because sometimes you would train with people that are very good at driving, so they wouldn't concentrate on driving.
Yep.
Maybe they'd rather concentrate on putting.
Okay.
While I'm good at putting, it's not gonna help me that much to only focus on putting. So
Yeah.
I think this is why it's very important to know your game, study your game, so that you get better at it.
Yep.
So I know for sure that I still need to work on driving or tee off my ball as much as I can.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm
And
working on that.
Because I know, with back in my days when I used to play, we would have certain trainings that, for instance, if you want to shoot a ball in a certain way, there's, you use your laces.
Yeah.
If you want to pass the ball in a certain way, there's just different aspects of your foot techniques that you use, So do you guys also have like a coach that, or maybe clinics?
Before we went to the World Cup, we would have like those sessions with the foot golf president,
Okay.
who's Norman,
Yes.
and that guy is very technical.
Yep.
So he would see the things that we don't see.
Yep.
Right? So he would help us out with that, because sometimes, obviously, there's times where you're not supposed to swerve too much, so that you are able to kick it straight.
Yep.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, because it's an individual sport, it's very important to know your game.
Yes.
So that you can improve on the things that you lack. This is what I'm saying. In my case, I still struggle with tee off.
Yep.
But also it doesn't kill my game in the sense of it makes me feel I can still compensate with what I'm good at.
Yeah.
Right. Because at the end of the day, foot golf is just a combination of all those technicalities.
Yeah.
You can still be good at teeing off, right?
Yes.
And then struggle with putting.
Yeah, that's true.
Whenever you get to the hole, you just go around, you go around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the whole point is for you to get less kicks
And
into the hole.
what happens now if the ball falls inside, water?
That's a penalty.
Is it?
Yeah. So
Okay.
you need to take it out. Drop it. That's a penalty.
That's a penalty for the opponent.
No, for you.
Or for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's more point.
It's more point.
Plus
Also,
one.
so it works on a point system.
Yes. The point
Okay.
system.
Is it?
Point
Okay.
system like golf.
Like golf.
Yeah.
It's interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Point system like golf.
Yeah.
So when you play, you try to avoid water as
At
much
all.
as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of measuring that you need to
Yeah.
also do.
Yeah.
See, I can't kick too much or I can't kick less.
Yeah. Those are the things you need to
Think
know.
about. Yeah.
There's kicking too much, and there's kicking in a sense that at least I wanted to get closer to the hole.
Yes.
There's instances where you need to play so safe.
Yeah.
There's instances where you need to risk. If you know that, okay, this is worth the risk.
Yep.
Yeah. There's obviously times where you need to kick beyond,
Even less. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, it makes sense. It makes
Yeah,
sense.
there's just so many things that,
Yeah.
that happen
Yeah.
in foot golf.
And now that it's been years in the sport, in the sporting code, where do you now see you expand from this journey in terms of development? Because I know you are big in skills and development as well.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself going back Lokshini, empowering the upcoming generation into the sport, and where do you see that structure?
I've just been appointed as a general member for the youth category in foot golf, to grow foot golf, the junior category
Yes.
in the African continent. So the foot golf president normally says, if you don't see the junior category growing,
Yep.
not only in the country,
Yep.
but in the continent,
Yep.
then you should ask me the questions why it's not growing, because I've just been given that task. So at the moment, truly speaking, I haven't done much work. As someone who's really passionate about development,
Yes.
I haven't done the work I'm supposed to be doing,
Yep.
which is quite disappointing for someone like me.
Yep.
But I'll definitely get the hang of it. I do want to see the younger Vuyiswas come into play. For golf.
Yeah, because I believe, and it's not something that you can necessarily blame yourself
Yeah.
in, because I believe firstly it comes with the education.
True.
Because now it's not everyone, it's not like saying there's soccer trials
Yeah.
where the whole community can come running.
Yeah.
It's now, okay, this is a new sport, and obviously there are key areas that you need to establish first, in terms of knowing, okay, this is where we can get this type of youth to come in.
Yeah.
and all that. So there's a lot of education behind that needs to, it comes with programs as well.
True.
As well. Yeah. So I believe that you are going to tap into that, and
yeah, no, I'll definitely tap into it. I know myself, once I start something,
Yeah.
I want to see progress.
yeah,
At least if I say I fail, but I would have tried.
and I mean that's
the
why,
moment I haven't tried,
and
but
that's
why I'm saying I'm gonna get into it.
definitely,
Yeah.
and hence the importance of such a platform also, because our role is to educate the different dynamics and the different aspects of the game of whoever knew that there would be a foot golf,
Yeah.
But it's interesting, and it shows how now the world is moving. That you can make anything out of anything, and even individually of yourself. With just an idea, and all that. But it would be very amazing now to see more teams come out from townships, more teams come up from different areas or demographics in the continent.
Yeah. I
So-
think that would be lovely. But it's slowly growing. As you're saying, people still need to be educated.
Yep.
I do believe there's supposed to be like campaigning about foot golf.
Yes.
People being taught, also people being given like a practical experience
Of
on
it.
how to play
Yep.
foot golf. But we'll surely do the work, because the foot golf president normally says we are the ambassadors of foot golf.
Foot golf. Yeah.
So I think we are all trying our level best to make sure that everyone knows about foot golf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in terms of department support, is that in place? We've got quite a very active minister now, in the sports, which is quite something that I believe that has been needed for the longest times. Where sports is taken seriously, sports and arts and culture is taken seriously, and are there plans by the department that you maybe know about to also try assist in that regard?
Yeah, no, I think obviously that's the department of the admin and executives.
Yeah.
But I know they are trying in their level best to get all the support that we need.
Yes.
To make sure that foot golf grows.
Yeah.
And we get to where we are supposed to go.
Yeah.
But at the moment I can't really say much about that.
Yeah.
But I know for sure that they're trying to get everything in order.
Especially because you guys are now competing on the highest level.
Yeah.
On a global state, and you're representing the country.
True.
Which is quite huge and quite big. I believe that Gayton, you need to support, such a cause, and not even corporate South Africa, the different structures, sponsorships, we need to start pulling through and, assisting as well, when necessary.
Yeah, we definitely do need that.
Yeah.
We definitely do need that, so that we can grow, to play more again, because in other countries, especially European countries, they play almost every weekend, and we can't afford to do that.
To play,
So I
because
think
there's
it
a
would
lot to
be-
consider, the
Exactly.
traveling, logistics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it would be lovely to get like corporates on board to come and be sponsors of foot golf. It would
Yeah.
be nice to partner with Foot Golf South Africa.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what I love is that already there's a structure, because all it takes is just having a body and a structure that becomes a driving muscle,
Yeah.
and has a plan. It might take time, but eventually, it
get
gets
there.
there. If it could get to me, then it could get to everyone, and it will eventually definitely, grow in that regard. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. And would you say you found what you've prayed for in terms of now incorporating the fashion and the foot golf, or not necessarily as yet?
I'm still trying to find my feet in that, but I think, I mean, I've manifested this, and it has come to life. Yeah, because I mean, I only said this in 2019.
Yep.
Then COVID happened.
Yep.
So I couldn't join any sports. And then I only joined foot golf in 2022.
Yes.
Right. It still has the aspect of the fashion side of it, but it's not that much.
Yeah.
But I can still make it to what I want it to be.
Yeah.
Because I do see myself at some point having merchandise inspired by foot golf or everything that happens around foot golf, and selling that merchandise as an individual, because that's how I see foot golf. I don't only see myself as a player playing only. There's just so many things I see happening
As a creative.
as a creative. Yeah. I think that's the beauty of being a creative in this whole thing.
Yeah.
Because I see other opportunities beyond just me playing. And this is why I even decided to document my journey and have like an actual documentary about my journey. Because I'm very passionate about storytelling. So it's very important for me to tell my story and have a reference to say this is where I started.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I do see so many things happening.
Yep.
But I'm not in a rush to do anything. Yeah.
And congrats, by the way, with your
Thank
screening. I found that very, very cool and very intriguing. And I think that also played a role in terms of educating other people about the sport as well. Yeah. And in terms of your documentary, where can people get to see it?
So for now, I don't want to put it online in any online platforms.
Yep.
I'd still like to have the physical interactions with people.
The
so
screening.
I prefer the screening.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm trying my level best to have my second screening.
Okay.
Yeah, in a different location.
Okay.
So we're working on logistics for that.
Yep.
But yeah, I'd probably do like 4 venues.
And was it with the NFVR?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Beautiful.
NFVF did give us a grant to shoot the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So even GFC as well.
GFC as well.
Is
Yeah.
also involved.
Yeah.
So I would still like to have that human touch into it. Yeah, because I do believe in that so much. To interact with people. Because even when I did the screening in Katlehong, my hometown, a lot of people didn't even know about foot golf, right? But they came in numbers to understand what foot golf is.
Yep.
And even today, I mean, we are done with the screening. Whenever I interact with people, whether it's the elders or the young ones, that still remember that moment, they cherish it even today. And I think that for me is great.
Yeah.
And I would like people to remember foot golf in that sense.
Yep.
Yeah, even maybe if they don't remember foot golf, but they at least remember the impact that I've played in foot golf in that sense.
Yeah.
So I'd still do the screenings, and then maybe at a later stage, which probably would be later in the year, because another thing again is I've qualified to go to the Masters in UK in August.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the screenings are more of a tour to go to the UK. It's more of a celebration because I hardly tell people that I've qualified to go to
The UK.
I think this is the first platform online where I just officially tell people that I've qualified to
amazing.
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you're at the screening, you'd hear that.
Yeah.
Even when we're screening in Katlehong, the foot golf president did mention that Vuyiswa was actually going to UK in August because she was qualified for the World Cup. I've never shared it online. I've never shared it anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still want to keep it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, until I come back from UK and then
From the UK.
we can share it on the online platforms.
And I think you want to definitely do top 5 now. Now you've got your notes, you've got everything in check.
Yeah.
In terms of preparation
Yeah.
and all that. Yeah. And before what's gonna come? You guys are guys going to do any national tours or provincial tours in terms of just preparing for that the World Cup? So the UK tour is a World Cup.
No, it's not a World Cup. The World Cup is happening in 2026.
2026, okay.
So the UK, there's a national tournament we were playing last year in November. So when you win at that tournament, you officially qualify to go to the Masters.
Okay.
In UK. So the Masters, normally it's the combination of the most best players in the world for foot golf.
Yeah.
So they come together to compete amongst each other.
Yep.
Yeah. So I qualified for
that.
Yeah.
The best amongst the best.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's something to be proud about as South Africans and draw inspiration from as well. Personally, you know, it shows, you know, the determination, the hard work, the consistency, and you've taken this and you've owned up to it.
Sure.
You know, from the lessons, the observations that you've taken, and also just the eagerness to want to learn and grow from it, and look what that is doing for you, and not just for you but your community. This is now, it feels like it's beyond you, you know. It's taking charge and it's beyond you. And and you know, at some point we would also love to have the president in terms of just conversations about now the plans, the bigger plans, the education, where he sees it going, you know, in the next 10 years. And it would be quite intriguing, you know, to have that.
No, I'll tell him.
Yeah.
He would honor the invite.
Yeah. You're doing well for yourself, I must say. I'm proud. I'm
Thank
really
you so
proud.
much. I mean, I feel like in a very short space of time, there's so much I've done in foot golf. But also the crazy part is that I'm not trying too hard. Things are just slowly falling into place. And I love that because I also have like friends who are willing to help out where they can. I'm also making sure that this is working out.
Yep.
Yeah, because I've just always been that person to say, if I'm gonna do something, I need to do it properly.
Yeah.
Or I don't do it at all. Some friends tend to say I'm too hard on myself, but I think I do that because I know my capabilities. There's things I know I wouldn't do. There's things I know that I definitely can do this. And I feel like in foot golf, I know I definitely can be great.
Yep.
So I need to show up for that.
Yep.
I need to push as much as I can to make sure that I get into that greatness.
Yep. It's an athlete mindset. Because being an athlete, you need to automatically push yourself. You need to, there's things that you need to deprive yourself of. And there's things that you need to allow, you know, so that you are always, so it's important, I believe.
Yeah, no, I think it's very important because recently I've just started strength training. And this is because I had an injury. Yeah, so I got injured last year in, I can't remember if it was late September or October or early October. So I joined running, right? Joined running, but I got injured. My calf, I pulled the muscle in my calf. And then I finished off my hip in foot golf. So I went to the physio. She told me that, your hip is messed up a bit. We can work on that. So she fixed my calf. Then we kept on working on
so
the
you're
hip
currently
now.
doing your strength, maybe strength strengthening conditioning.
Yeah. So, and then she obviously gave me exercises, but I constantly needed to go to each and every 2 weeks. I would go to her so that she can check my progress.
Keep working on it.
Yeah. So that experience on its own taught me a lot about sports in general, right? Even the injuries, but also even the importance of just taking care of yourself. And removing anything that's not aligning with you. So, and just focusing on the things that would work out for you. Because even when I played the tournament in November, I was injured. But I pushed as much as I can, because I remember on the practice day, I didn't kick because my hip was just not in it. When I played on the first day, I played it safely because I was saving myself for the next day. But on the next day, I knew I had to risk, because in my mind, I'm like, I need to go to England. I need to be there. So when one of my teammates say, you can't risk, but you're injured, I'm like, yeah, I know I'm injured, but I need to risk. So it's also just a matter of knowing when to risk. You understand? But when I started strength training now, this year, this was obviously advised by the physio so that I don't get much injuries. Because I sometimes also run. Also actually have a run even tomorrow. But I sometimes run, and strength training is very important when you're running.
Definitely.
So that you don't get injured that much. So I haven't won any game this year. But I don't feel bad at the same time. Mainly because I know the hard work that I'm putting in strength training.
Definitely.
It's not an easy thing to go. So there's a couple of teammates who are asking me, you're performing. But they also don't know what I'm actually working on behind the scenes, right? And when I'm going to get back to my form and start winning, I won't stop.
Definitely. Man, it's amazing. And I think mostly thank you definitely for, coming through and educating us, on this intriguing and amazing sport. I feel like there's a lot that we still need to learn, and through your journey, there's a lot that we're still going to be exposed from journey, also travelings, and all the best, in terms of all your competitive competitions coming through later this year, and definitely treat that injury because we need you, and we need you to bring the title home.
I'm actually healed now. But it's also just a matter of making sure I don't go back to that state again.
Definitely. And thank you for coming to the show. I really
a pleasure.
appreciate it.
It's only a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
It's all a pleasure. Thank you. All right.